Hello everyone. Back again with film recaps. In this video, I'm going to recap one of the horror mystery films from 2024, titled Night Swim. Before we get to the storyline, I'd like to wish everyone a happy and great day. Without further ado, let's get straight to the storyline. The movie opens in the summer of 1992, with an eerie shot of a large swimming pool. It is nighttime, and there is a toy boat emerging out of the pool. Hearing the strange noise, the owner's daughter, Rebecca, is awakened inside the house. She peeks through the window, and notices the boat, so the little girl goes to her brother's room, saying she has found his missing toy boat. Turns out the boy is suffering from some sort of illness, which has rendered him very weak. Regardless, Rebecca promises to get his toy back for him. Rebecca slowly heads towards the pool. After spotting the toy boat, she grabs a skimmer net, and tries to retrieve it. But the task proves to be a bit challenging, as the toy keeps getting away from her, and she doesn't even realize she has reached the pool's edge. Then all of a sudden, an external force pulls her into the water. As she struggles to breathe, she notices her mother outside the pool. But when she eventually reaches the surface, there is no one around the pool. Rebecca is terrified by the incident, and she proceeds to leave, but just then, the creepy toy boat pops up. This once again draws her attention, and she decides to retrieve it once and for all. Unfortunately, as she reaches for it, something pulls her under the water. Rebecca desperately pleads for help, but no one comes to her aid, resulting in her tragic demise. The movie then shifts to the present day, and we are introduced to the Wallers, a sweet family consisting of parents, Ray and Eve, and their children, Izzy and Elliot. We get to know that Ray was a professional baseball player in the past, but he has since retired due to an illness. He has slight difficulty walking, so he uses a crutch. They are currently looking for a new house in a quiet suburban town. Their realtor, Kay, shows them around a beautiful rental house, but the family doesn't seem that enticed. Later, as they are driving around the neighborhood, Ray's eyes fall upon a large house that has been put on sale. So, the Wallers decide to check it out. Kay explains that she knew about this house, but didn't think it would match their requirements. Furthermore, it is not a rental, but completely for sale. She further reveals that the house had only one owner in the last couple of decades. Eve likes the place because it is cheap and spacious. The school where she'll be working is also nearby, which is a plus point for her. Outside, we see Ray gazing over a spacious pool, which is covered at the moment. Ray takes a moment to survey around the pool, and when he spots a baseball above the covers, he decides to retrieve it. But then, he falls into the water. Ray tries to get out, but he gets further entangled in the covers, while he envisions himself making a comeback in professional baseball. Moments later, Ray somehow manages to get out of the pool. His family also rushes to the scene, and here we already know that it is the same haunted swimming pool from the earlier scene. The following day, Ray visits the hospital for a routine checkup. After conducting some tests, his therapist suggests that he escalate the diagnosis for better results. Turns out Ray is suffering from a condition that affects bodily functions like movement and speech, making day-to-day activities very difficult. The therapist recommends that Ray engage in light exercises like swimming, as it can enhance muscle memory. Eve is disappointed by the news as her husband is still not showing any signs of improvement, but she is hopeful that they will get through it. The couple then discuss if they should buy the house, and Ray thinks the place is great and the kids will love it. He can also have water therapy right in his backyard. Eve is a bit skeptical about it, as they have to buy the house at once, but for the sake of the family, she agrees. In the next scene, the family moves into the house, along with their pet cat, Cider. Later, Eve takes the kids to their new school, which also happens to be her workplace. Despite it being her first day here, Izzy manages to befriend a popular guy named Ronan, and she is smitten by his looks. That evening at home, the family is busy cleaning up the pool. They have drained the water, and Ray puts his hand inside the bottom drain with the intention of unclogging it. But as soon as he does so, something slashes his hand. The rest of the family members are horrified to find a strange black liquid oozing out of the hole. Later, the pool maintenance guy arrives to clean up the pool, and he reveals that the black liquid from earlier is actually water coming from an underground spring. It is not just an ordinary spring, but a wellness one, which does wonders for the skin. This place also used to have spring pools all around, and Ray feels that the pool might be the best therapy for his illness. After the maintenance guys depart, the family wastes no time, and dives right into the pool. As the mother playfully tosses coins into the pool, the kids manage to fetch them from the bottom. Ray is also enjoying the experience, as he feels less strain on his muscles inside the water. Seeing him happy after so long, Eve is relieved. But that night, her mood quickly changes, as she has to write a massive check to their therapist. To alleviate her mood, Eve decides to take a dip alone. She paddles around the pool and goes underwater, showcasing her exceptional skills. But when she is swimming,
Ray, you scared me.
She catches a glimpse of her husband standing outside, before he's gone. Suddenly, the lights also start to flicker, prompting her to rush out of the water. Eve then goes inside the house, and finds that everyone else is sleeping. When Ray wakes up, she inquires if he was at the pool, but he says no. This creeps Eve out, and she suggests that they should fix the pool lights tomorrow. Meanwhile, we see Cider chilling by the swimming pool. As she looks at the water intently, the same toy boat from earlier pops up, and it starts moving around the pool on its own. In the morning, the cat goes missing, and her collar is found floating in the pool. Later, Ray opens the bandages from his hand, and shockingly learns that his cut has healed, leaving no scars at all. In order to ensure their safety, Elliot and Ray proceed to cover the pool. That night, Eve abruptly wakes up and realizes that her husband is not by her side. When she looks out of the window, she finds him swimming in the pool, and she is surprised to see how well he can now swim despite his condition. The next morning, he visits the hospital for another round of checkups. After going through some vigorous medical tests, his therapist reveals something shocking. Turns out Ray's condition has improved beyond expectations. The couple is elated by the news, and Ray attributes the recovery to his water therapy. The same day, Elliot approaches Ray in the garage, and hands him a jar full of coins, saying he wants to play fetch underwater. Since Ray is hell-bent on making a quick recovery, he simply makes a smiley face on one of the coins and asks Elliot to swim alone. After this, Elliot sticks the coin on a toy, and dives inside. As he goes underwater, someone starts throwing coins inside the pool. Elliot finds nobody outside, and believes that it's his dad, so he happily picks all of them. However, it seems like the coins are thrown towards a deeper part of the pool. This goes on for a while, and at one point, he notices someone outside, but nobody's around. He then senses that someone is above the dive board, but the boy finds no one. And then all of a sudden,
hello? Can you hear me? I need help.
he hears a girl calling out for help, and she appears to be talking from inside one of the purifiers. She says that her name is Rebecca, and that she's looking for her mom. The girl then hands him his toy, and when Elliot tries to retrieve it, this freaks the boy out, so he tells his mom about the incident, informing her that the girl's name is Rebecca, who was looking for her mom. However, there is no one around as usual, leaving them confused. Later, Ray is informed about the strange occurrence, but he believes that it was just the boy's imagination because he doesn't have any friends yet. To lighten up the mood, he announces that they will have a pool party this weekend, where all the neighbors and friends will be invited. The following day, the entire family goes to Elliot's baseball practice. The boy appears to be scared of batting, because he's the son of a former baseball player, but with everyone's encouragement, he manages to get a solid strike. The sports coach then asks Ray to give it a try, which he accepts. The first attempts, he completely misses, and on the second one, he takes an embarrassing tumble. But on the third attempt, he envisions the swimming pool, which surprisingly slows down time for him. He then strikes the ball so hard that it cracks, and ends up flying to the floodlights. This leaves everyone, including his family, in shock, and they applaud his skills. That night, the parents decide to go on dinner, as Ray has been feeling very healthy now. Once they depart, Izzy takes the opportunity to invite her boyfriend, Ronan. The two jump inside the swimming pool and have a lot of fun. They play Marco Polo, where one has to close their eyes and find the next person by using the words Marco and Polo. When it's Izzy's turn, Ronan decides to play a prank on her. He gets out of the swimming pool, leaving her alone. Suddenly, the lights start flickering, and Izzy starts hearing the word polo coming from nearby. We then see an entity circle around her numerous times, but when Izzy finally opens her eyes, it's gone. Assuming that Ronan is messing with her, she dives underwater to find him, but surprisingly doesn't reach the bottom. Suddenly, the entity shows up from below, and grabs her leg, but luckily, Izzy notices a small opening at the top, through which she eventually reaches the surface of the swimming pool. Ronan helps her out of the water, and she is shocked when he says that she was alone this entire time. Before Izzy can explain any further, her parents arrive, so Ronan makes a run for it. The incident leaves her deeply unsettled. Elliot knows that she saw something in the pool, and he asks her about it, but she denies seeing anything, not wanting to ruin her father's progress. The scene then cuts to the pool party, where a lot of people are gathered, including the realtor, Kay. Outside, the coach's son approaches Ray and asks for an autograph. Ray happily signs it, and asks the boy if he would like to have some fun. When the latter accepts, Ray carries him on his shoulder, and the two face off against another team in the pool. Inside the kitchen, Eve asks Kay why the pool wasn't used by the previous owners for a long time. The realtor tries to dodge the question, but when Eve insists on learning the truth, she finally speaks. Kay reveals that decades ago, a girl drowned in the same swimming pool. She claims that it was an accident, so there's no reason to be worried. Out of the blue, Eve asks if the girl's name was Rebecca, and Kay is surprised that Eve knows the girl's name. Outside, the battle between the two teams has gotten intense. Ray and the kid dig down deep, and somehow manage to win it. But just then, a black liquid comes out of the bottom drain, and enters Ray's mouth. This possesses him, and Ray grabs onto the kid's thighs tightly, and slowly proceeds to the deep end of the pool. The boy pleads for help, but no one can hear him because of the outside noise. Just when it seems like he's going to die, his father spots his hand and quickly dives in. The two are eventually saved, and the coach is left in shock as he notices hand marks on his son's thighs. Ray also survives the incident, but just by the skin of his teeth. The party has turned into a tragedy, and in the aftermath, cops arrive at the scene to investigate. Eve apologizes for the incident and explains that her husband held onto the kid because of his neurological condition. The coach decides not to press any charges, but he and his wife don't want to see Ray near his kid ever again. As a result, Eve gathers her family in the car as she doesn't want to live in this house anymore. She believes that there's something wrong with the swimming pool, but Ray thinks her theory is ridiculous. The family then attempts to drive away, but all of a sudden, Ray starts coughing. His veins swell up and he pukes a black liquid, the same one we saw coming out from the swimming pool. It seems that the pool isn't going to let him leave, and the family re-enters the house again. While resting, Ray expresses his desire to get into the swimming pool. When he continues to insist, Eve gets scared, so she heads outside, and drains all the water from the pool. The following day, she conducts an online investigation on the house, which reveals shocking information. Not just Rebecca, but several other people died in that very pool. Desperate to find answers, Eve heads to the Summers residence, where Rebecca's mom still lives to this day. Upon arrival, the old lady, Lucy, welcomes her in. She lives alone in this house, and boasts that her son, Thomas, is a USAID ambassador in Washington. However, Eve gets straight to the point and asks about the pool, and also inquires about her daughter, Rebecca. These questions deeply trouble Lucy, and she begins to cough vigorously. We also notice black tears rolling down her eyes, indicating that she's possessed. Here she starts telling the truth about the pool. Long ago, before the house was built, there was a healing spring there. It was magical, and could grant people their deepest desires. However, it required regular sacrifices to keep giving. Lucy reveals that her son, Thomas, was very sick, but the water cured him, and now he has become very successful. Eve then asks what happened to Rebecca, to which the old woman says that she had to go. In a flashback, we are shown that when Rebecca was drowning, Thomas heard her screams. He attempted to help her, but Lucy locked his door from outside. She did so because she was already possessed by the entity. Lucy tells Eve that she shouldn't worry about her husband, because he's the one who gets the wish. She claims that it'll be worth it, but Eve thinks that this is all ridiculous. She asks the old lady for help in stopping all this madness, but Lucy once again starts coughing, and her entire face is covered with the black liquid. Even the nearby fountain drips with the same substance, and Eve gets scared and she immediately flees the place. Back at the house, Ray is taking a bath when his body is suddenly taken over by the entity. At the same time, Elliot hears his cat, Cider, meowing from the pool, so he goes to find him. We see that the previously drained pool is once again filled with water, and Elliot spots Cider on the inflatable balloon, so he tries to reach out to her. But just like before, he is pulled inside the water by a frightful entity. The motor that automates the cover above the swimming pool also starts moving on its own, trapping him inside. Just when all hope seems to be lost, Mom arrives at the scene and breaks the motor. Without wasting any time, she dives inside the water to save Elliot. When she reaches the bottom, she finds a hole that leads to an infinite abyss. Eve then heads to the surface, she ties the hose outside for oxygen, and dives right back in. Meanwhile, Izzy rushes inside the house to call 911. She grabs her phone to make the call, but her dad suddenly appears in his possessed state and throws the phone away. He then grabs her by her hair, and drags her around the house. A terrified Izzy manages to escape, but Ray is determined to get her. Inside the pool, Eve reaches the depths of the spring, and eventually finds her son. But as she proceeds to leave, several entities surround her, scaring her heart out. Eve still doesn't give up as she knows that time is running out for her son. With great determination, she escapes the entities, but now the next challenge is to find the correct way outside. Here the entity of Rebecca suddenly shows up, and she has the coin with the smiley sign. She tosses the coin, and it shows the way to the swimming pool. Following that direction, Eve finally manages to reach the surface. She then gets out of the pool, and tries to administer CPR on her unconscious son. Soon after, Ray approaches her from behind with a demonic look, so she asks him to help her. Instead, he grabs her by the neck, and lifts her up, but just before he can kill her, Izzy strikes him from behind with his own baseball bat. Izzy pleads with him to come back, and Ray starts having visions of all the good times he spent with his family. This finally prompts him to vomit the black liquid, and he reverts to his normal state. Elliot also regains consciousness, but as the family tries to take him away, his veins start swelling up. The pool doesn't let him leave the premises. Seeing this, Ray realizes that the pool needs a sacrifice, so he decides to commit the unthinkable. He slowly walks inside the pool, until he is completely engulfed in the water. The sight devastates his family, but they can do nothing to save him now. As soon as Ray disappears, his son vomits the black liquid, and reverts to normalcy. In the aftermath of this incident, the family fills the entire pool with sand. They have decided to continue staying here, because they know that if they leave, another family will come, and the cycle will continue again. Okay guys, thanks for watching. See you again in the next video.